Okay guys, it's the day of the challenge. I'm using a piece of this old leaf spring from a 1942 Scammell trailer, pre-war, and I'm going to forge that. I've got my parameters marked on there. That's that overall length of that steel is 14 inches. That's my minimum, so I'm going kind of in the centre with that Bowie-esque type chopping knife. And I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna weld a handle on because I'm not messing around with tongs. I might even cheat a little bit and cut that off just to save moving that down. It won't make the knife any better. It'll just save me 4 or 5 heats. So I'm going to sync my clock with the TV, so you know that everything's good. So where are we? We're 12:09 on the TV. We're 12:09 on the clock. We've also got a little clock outside just behind the forge, so you'll be able to monitor the time. And when I finish my video, when I finish the knife, or if I finish the knife, I'll come back to the clock and show you that the times are still synced up, and we'll check the time on the TV. All right, guys. We're all on honour for this, but I just thought a belt and braces it. I'm going to the forge now. I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, no. I'm gonna cut that up, get a handle welded on. Cut, guys. Getting some of that rubbish off there with my grinder. It's a lot of old rust and scale on this thing. I'm not going to go too mad. If I end up leaving some of that finish on, I'm not really bothered. Hold it on there, I think that'll hold. Get in the forge, the tempo up. I'm going to run stopwatch, start. So I'll keep that running. I'll keep showing it in the video periodically. Gonna have to get that up to temperature and just give it a soak for a minute or two. Got a pretty good temperature on this now. Really, I'm just going to straighten it out a little bit. Just tell it I don't want it to be a spring anymore. Go in again then. Right. That bevel. I'm doing a Jason here, but I'm not really tall enough. It's not going to work. I'll put my little clip in. Fella, play ball. That's where my handle junction starts. Right guys, so I'm done on the forging stage. I'm just about done here. pretty straight, that. All that drawing out has given me too much length on the handle. I'm not going to bother hot cutting it. I'm just going to cut it off on the angle grinder, then just refine the shape a little bit. But first I'm just going to normalise it for a few cycles, take it up to temperature, let it slow down. Then I will do all that cutting, then I'll normalise again and do the grinding. So there's a bit of a warp in this because it wants to go back to a spring shape, and I've just give it a normalizing cycle, couple of normalizing cycles just before I did some grinding on it to just soften it back a bit. Let's try and tease it into a straight shape. That's better, that's better. Still a bit. Does not want to be straight, this steel. That's getting there now a bit. It still wants more. Why don't I put some tape on them so they stop falling off? I don't know, why don't you? I might do in a minute. Oh, that'll do. That's it, we're good. Right, let's get some grinding done. 40, what I got? What's that? It's 36. A 36. Somewhat used, which will do. You won't be able to hear me now. Oh! 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 Nice one. I've done, oop, the mic's come off. Anyway, I've done grinding for now. That's good enough for my, for me to get my pins in, pinholes in, get some normalizing done, and then get ready to go into heat treating. I'll finish the grinding off. I don't want to leave that edge too thin because it's liable to buckle up on me. So get some holes drilled in for the pins on the handle. On there, on there, and on there, and that's it. Some pin drilling, little bit of pin drilling in my life. Right, I'm going to go normalise and see if it turns back into a spring. Let's get this guy fired up here. There's my lighter. Soon gets the temperature. I've just got the blade in the forge. The forge is actually pretty cold now. I've just got it in there warming up a little bit. I'll get the blade in now. I think this piece of steel is really it's gonna bend on me again, I think. Just with rushing it, not taking me time. What I would normally do on this leaf spring steel, or any kind of old steel like this, I would give it 3 normalizing cycles, just to refine the grain in the steel. Then I'll put it into vermiculite or wood ash at temperature, you know, at non-magnetic. I'll put it into wood ash or vermiculite and just let it cool down to anneal the steel. And once I straighten out from annealed state, it never usually bends again. But just doing thermal cycling and stress relieving, it's not got that real slow cooling cycle. So it keeps kind of wanting to bend back again into that spring shape that it was. Where are we at? 700 degrees. I messed up with the clock before, guys. You can probably see it. You can probably see I messed up with the clock before. The time is 3:15. I just accidentally hit stop on my stopwatch, so when I get tempering, I'm going to kind of work out where I need to reset the clock to, and we'll carry on with that. I'll show you the time elapsed on the TV when I've finished anyway, so you know I'm not cheating. Each one of these cycles now is going to take maybe 10-15 minutes, so it's really going to put a lump in the time, but I'm not particularly stressed. I'm not particularly worried. I know I can do it now. Pretty sure I can, unless we get some major big bad warp when we come to heat treat. Just nearly up there now, 8:15. Right guys, I'm going to leave you for a bit now. As soon as this gets up to 8:50, I'm going to hold it for 10 and take it out. Repeat that 3 times, descending temperature, then we'll get ready for heat treating then. What time are we on, guys? We're on 3 o'clock now. I can't remember what time I started. Was it 12:09? So we're on 3 hours. I'll get a break in a bit when I get when I temper this knife. Oh, any time now I'm gonna go. I'm on my last normalizing cycle now. Okay, guys, I'm done with my thermal cycling, and I've just taken that little bit of a slight twist out the handle, and we're lovely and straight now. So I'm going back in now for heat treating, and I'm giving it 15 minutes. Okay guys, we're going into the quench. We are at temp. Whoa, some nasty scaling on there. And how is it? Such a weird shape, this knife. I can't really see if it's straight. It's straight. It's straight. Wow, yeah, cool. It had moved a little bit during all that thermal cycling and heat treating, but there was a little bit of a twist in the handle, like I said. But I've got that out, I think. I'll straighten anything that's not right out when I come to do the final grind. I just want to get this tempered, but I'm just going to check the heat treating on it. '61, '62, 63.5. Lovely. I'll do. Into the tempering, and we can have a break for an hour. Right, sorry about the clock mess up, guys. I think you saw me before. I hit the reset button on the damn clock, but we're at where we're at. So I'll just go over the time. I started at 12:09, and at 3:45 I put this into temper. So the kind of clock stopped. So I'm back an hour later. It's a little bit later now. It's 16:54. So I've had 3 hours 38 minutes working on it. So I'm going to carry on now. And what I'll do is when I've finished working on it, I'll just show you the time on here. I'm sorry about the clock, guys, but just a genuine mistake. Right. I've just come out of tempering. It's still warm. I'm just going to test the Rockwell on it because I've got enough time. I've got till 6, haven't I? 10 past 6 or 10 past 7. I can't quite work it out, but I've got more than enough time to temper it again. So I'm just waiting for it to cool down so I can just test the Rockwell, because I don't want it to be too brittle, the edge. 56.5. It's a bit softer than I wanted it to be, but it will not be brittle. Right. That's gonna be pretty good for a spring steel. You probably noticed that today that the camera's been more fluid than it usually is. I'll just show you why. Because we have Jim on camera. Say hello, Jim.
Hello, everybody.
That's my boy. So he's been doing the filming for me, and it's we've had 2 cameras running, so hopefully the video will look a bit better for you guys. Anyway, I'm back. It's cool enough now, so I'm going to get back onto the handle. I'm just going to cut this out now with a bandsaw. That'll do me. I'm gonna call a halt to that. I'm not gonna bother hand sanding it. It's just gonna take me too long. It's good enough for the testing knife. There's a few I need to get that round further to take them slight hollows out there, but I'm just not going to bother. Right, so I'm going to go on to finishing the handle. The handle done. On a normal handle, on a normal knife I make, I'd normally run a series of holes through that, just to get a better bond on the timber. Yeah, more than enough. Rapid set epoxy. Fill with epoxy. And we're together. I'm going to give it 5-10 minutes, see what happens. Going to kind of leave the handle a little bit gnarly because the grip's really good on it as it's come off the belt. Let's get the belt bumps out of there. Got little ridges on the steel that come off the joint in the belt. We're going to take up the challenge. That's what you want to try and aim for. That hour's temper time's just dead. You can't do anything. I thought I could shake my handle during the temper time, but it's cheating, isn't it? Because you're actually working when the clock stopped. So that's why I kind of left it. You know what, that'll do, that handle. Feels lovely, that. A bit of oiled linseed on that. Not that it makes any difference. Not that it makes any difference. that up. I fed them pigeons. I can say. Right, there. We got it. Just there, the centre. Oh. Can live with that. So, that's it guys. I am done. Where are we at? We need to work out the time now, don't we? 17:53. We started at 12:09. It's 17:53. Let's call it 1800 hours. I have had an hour, subtract an hour off that for tempering, and I've done it in roughly 5 hours. So, challenge completed. It is now time. It's a pretty ugly knife. If I hadn't, like I say, if I had started earlier, it would have made a big difference to this. If I started in good time, I could have put this on the surface grinder, or spent a little bit more time cleaning the spine up. But it looks kind of cool with that forged finish there. I could have maybe spent another 10-15 minutes grinding the bevels flatter, straighter, better. But it is what it is, and it's going to get tested to destruction, guys. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's a bit late now. Jim's got to get going, and I have got stuff to do. So I'll come back tomorrow, and we'll get it done. Testing day. I thought I'd just show you the knife before I attack. Feels really nice. Good lovely grip for what I am about to do. So let's go and do it. I didn't have a rope, fellas, so I've got 3 strands of probably 3/8 half-inch rope there. My ice block, my piece of oak. So, need some paper. Sheets of paper. Ten, 5, 1, 1. Ten of them. Ten of them. Nearly. I'll show you the edge. Really sweet, really sweet. Nothing hanging up. Maybe a very, very slight little tiny miniature roll there. Impressed. Guys, I completely forgot to measure the knife, didn't I? We have blade at 7.5, overall 12 inches. I'm quite happy with the way that come out and the way the edge held up. For a very, very rush knife, it didn't turn out too good, too bad, too good is not. I make no excuses for the way it looks whatsoever, given the time I had. But I think I justified myself in the steps I took to heat treat it, to temper it, to stabilise it, to all the different steps I took in the tempering, everything, to make sure the edge held up. Because without that, a knife is just a knife-shaped piece of steel without its edge holding ability, without the ability to hold an edge. I have never cut into a block of ice, never. That is oak. That log is an oak log. It is so hard. It is really hard stuff, really tough and stringy. That's probably why I didn't get very far through it, but I put as much effort as I could into trying. A few things I just want to say to you guys who are doing the challenge. Can you copy and paste? In my description, I'm gonna put all the guys who were involved so far. I'm gonna put the channel names, and when these guys have done the challenge video, I'm gonna put the challenge video under that link. And I'll continue to do that for the next few videos, just to update people on what's going on. If you guys could do the same, that would be great. And new guys who want to come into this, all you have to do, fellas, is copy that from someone else's video, or the latest video that's up would be the best one. Put your channel name at the bottom and your video link underneath it, so we can get a rolling list going. Then anybody who wants to view these challenges can just go down the list and see them in the order, and we'll just see how long of a list we can get, eh? I think that's all I wanted to say. Okay, James at County Line Forge, he's just done his intro vid. He said he's doing his video. He's probably already done it now. He said he was doing it this week. He's going to try and get his video up this week, late this weekend or early next week. So take a look on that. And John from Old Hickory Forge said he was in, and I haven't had time to tell everyone yet, but I noticed this. I only saw this morning he's actually done this challenge, so I'm gonna put John. He'll be the latest one. He'll be right at the bottom of the list in the description. John's done his challenge, so I'll put a link to his video in that as well. So there we are, guys. I hope you enjoyed doing that. It's something I have never done. I've never tried to make a knife that fast. I'm pleased with the way it turned out. One guy has suggested, I think it was Martin M&S Blades suggested that all the guys in the challenge, if they want to kind of send each other the knives and do swaps. I was going to destruction test it because I honestly thought that chopping that ice would really damage and roll that edge, but it's just done nothing. If I rub that over the stone now, I think so. If I just draw that down that stone a few times and just remove that little burr I've created one, probably. Just get rid of that burr. we go. She is back. Come on you guys, I want to see your videos now. We want to see what you can do. And I now know it's possible. I can forge and grind and heat treat a knife and finish it in 6 hours. A knife with a good edge that will withstand some fairly harsh tests that most knives will never go through. I could have done it a hell of a lot quicker if I'd just done stock removal, if I'd just cut the shape out of that spring with a grinder, took it to, well, put it in the forge, straighten the thing out, grind the profile in, grind the sides down. But it was kind of, this was kind of about forging a piece of steel into a knife shape. And it just shows you, if you've got heat, if you've got a good source of heat, if you can heat that steel up to where it'll move, and if you've got a few simple tools like a grinder, just a hand grinder, you can make a knife. So maybe in a future challenge I might just make a knife using the forge and hand grinding tools, and that is it, maybe. But for now, that is it. I am going to do another challenge. I don't know when. I'm going to wait till all these guys get their videos done, and then we'll think of something else that is more fiendish. See you later, fellas. Thanks for watching, and check out the guys in the description below, and keep your eye open for their videos. Hopefully when they upload, if anyone new has joined the challenge, they'll be on the list too. See you later.